On Crimson Light's patio, Cole joins Victoria and Nick, who says, "I've given you up for dead." Cole tells him, "Hey, you're not going to get rid of me that easy." Victoria tells him they were all worried about him. Cole admits he was worried himself. He's grateful for all of her TLC. Victoria complains he quarantined himself in a suite. He had to keep his loved ones safe. Victoria announces that she wants him to move into the tack house so they can live as one big happy family. Cole learns Claire's plans to move in with Kyle are on hold for now, and that Katie and Johnny are on board. They thought he was already living there. Nick thought so too. He leaves them to figure this out. Victoria teases Cole that he can't use the Katie and Johnny excuse not to move in, so what else does he have? Cole learns Claire suggested this, and they go over not getting to raise her. Victoria says their daughter wants her to be happy. She was hoping he'd want the same thing. Cole decides he'll say yes, and they kiss. They go over her not being able to take care of him when he was sick. He assures her that the next time, she'll be by his side. They marvel at how far they've come. They finally figured out they belonged together. Cole swerves back to Victor interfering in Claire's love life. He wasn't thrilled with the idea of her moving in with Kyle either. It felt too soon. Victoria reiterates that she's chosen to slow things down. Cole thinks he should have a conversation with Victor. Victoria says their daughter has a plan to win him over. Cole learns they're planning a party for Nikki, where Kyle will make a grand gesture to win Victor over. Cole fully supports it. If she stays longer, it gives him the opportunity to live under the same roof with his two favorite girls for longer. Nick joins Sharon inside, and he asks how things went with her and Phyllis at the park when he left. She assures him they've put their animosity aside. They go over how they bonded over the kidnapping. Nonetheless, Nick picked up on some tension and asks what that was all about. Sharon isn't sure what he was picking up on. They're not besties, but they finally saw the good in each other. She asks Nick to be honest. Does he wish he and Phyllis were a couple again? Nick says he and Phyllis aren't getting back together. Why would she ask that? She saw something between him and Phyllis when she came upon them in the park. He shares the same bond with her that he does with Sharon. The blonde wonders if Phyllis is more traumatized by Alon than she's willing to admit. She'll burn everything down in her life before she admits she needs help. Nick is drawn to that like a moth to a flame. That's what I'm sensing, Nick. Am I right? Nick says Phyllis is strong. Sharon is too, but that doesn't mean she can't break. Phyllis seems so vulnerable, almost fragile. She needs rescuing. Is that something that you want to do? Because I can see you falling into that old habit again. Playing the hero and falling for Phyllis again. Nick says it's not going to happen. You're wrong. He asks where this is coming from. It seems there's more to it than her being concerned about Phyllis. It kinda seems like you're jealous. Sharon denies it. Nick reminds her they discussed this and agree that they're better off as friends. They've spent a lot of time together these past months, but they agree that's not what either of them wants. Sharon told him in London she's fine with them being friends. This isn't about you and me. This is about you and Phyllis. She doesn't want him involved in an unhealthy entanglement again. Nick muses, "So, you're concerned about our well-being?" Sharon nods. Nick assures her there's no reason to worry. He and Phyllis are happy with their arrangement, just as they are with theirs. On the patio, Cole stands up to leave and gets woozy. Victoria's glad he'll be living close by so she can keep an eye on him. Cole points to Sharon and Nick inside and asks what's going on with them. Victoria gets the feeling they're trying to find their way back to each other. Nick can deny it all he wants, but the look in Sharon's eye tells a different story. They agree it's a good thing and exit. Inside, Nick says it's not new for Sharon to be worried about him getting involved with Phyllis. He's enjoying seeing the two of them not fight. Sharon teases if he misses them fighting over them. Nick has accepted that he's a better friend to them than husband. No more messy entanglements. Sharon asks if it's okay for them to have dinner. Nick says of course. They don't have to stress over what it means or where it might lead. Sharon teases that she can help them figure out the two forks. What are friends for? Claire arrives at the ranch with a gift for Victor. It's a chocolate croissant, so he teases her about having to stay in shape. Claire only has a few minutes to talk. Victor assumes it's about Kyle and warns she already knows how he feels about him. He's sorry to learn she hasn't cut him off and feels there's no point in discussing the Abbott. Claire asks him to hear her out. He might be surprised by what she has to say. Claire hates that this is straining her relationship with her grandfather. Victor does too. She lets him know that his approval means a lot to her. She's spoken to Kyle, and they put their plans to move in together on hold for now. Victor's chuffed. Claire notes that after how he welcomed her into the family, she owes him honesty. She and Kyle are in love, and she thinks in time, he'll prove he can be trusted with her heart. Victor doesn't want her to be hurt and respects what she has to say. Claire notes that Nikki's birthday is coming up. Would he help her plan a party? Victor's glad Claire is planning a party. He was going to do so himself. They talk about Nikki training Claire to take over for her someday. Claire wants to focus on the party planning and notes it's not a surprise. She's already told her grandmother and her mom, but she wants to work on it with Victor. He says, "Count me in." Kyle walks into society, and Holden greets him and reminds him Claire introduced them at the jazz club. He tells him he's impressed with what he and his father have done at Abbott and offers to buy him a drink. Kyle accepts as Audra walks in and looks horrified. Audra strolls over and learns they met a few weeks ago when Claire introduced them. Kyle says he got her hooked on Vespers. Audra makes a crack and Kyle asks how long they've been friends. Neither of them would say they're friends. They handled some business together back in Audra muses. It was less than memorable. Kyle says she's not the type to forget details. Maybe she's losing her edge. She taunts that she's still sharp enough to cut him to the bone. Holden asks how they know each other. Kyle says they ran a failed cosmetics company together. Audra snarks that it was a waste of her talents. Holden asks which one will fill him in on their history together. Kyle says the time he and Audra spent together is over too. They've moved on. He tells Audra there's no point in Abbott in vibrant fighting. Holden learns that's her new company. Audra appreciates Kyle taking the high road. Holden remarks on everyone playing nice. Kyle's takeout arrives and he exits. Once alone, Audra asks Holden, "What are you trying to do?" Audra tells Holden he's out of his league and complains that he lied to her earlier when he pretended not to know who Kyle was. Holden calls her out for neglecting to tell him Vibrant was a cosmetics firm that puts her in direct competition with the company Kyle runs. Audra tells him it's none of his business and accuses him of having an agenda. He scans her and thinks it's obvious what he wants. Should he be jealous of her and Kyle? It's clear the heat is still there. Audra ignores him, but he keeps harping about the connection they shared. He knows how she is when a guy gets to her. Audra snarks, "You wish you knew." Holden sees she's trying to shut this down, which means there's more to the story. Audra tries to leave, but Holden grabs her arm. He wants to look out for her here the same way he did in LA. Kyle says he wants to put whatever happened between you behind him. Is that what's going to happen? Audra informs him he doesn't need to be concerned about her and Kyle. Holden's sure if they're competing, the gloves will come off. Audra insists she and Kyle can be adults. Holden asks, where is the fun in that? Audra tells him he has a real problem with boundaries. When will he take the hint and go back to Los Angeles? Holden wonders if Audra hasn't moved on from Kyle. It seems like she might still have an axe to grind. She tells him to stay out of her business and her life and flounces off. Kyle meets up with Claire in the park, and she tells him she met up with Victor, and it went as well as could be expected. Kyle's sure he was relieved they're not moving in together. He's still upset about putting their lives on hold due to his objections. Claire reminds him they're playing the game. She pitched him her party idea, and he didn't seem to suspect her ulterior motives. Now, Kyle just has to make a grand gesture for Nikki's birthday that will please her grandfather. Kyle mutters that he could serve his head on a platter. Claire is sure he can win over her grandfather. They kiss. Kyle warns Claire that Victor may never accept them together. Claire told her grandfather they weren't going to break up. He respected that she took his feelings into consideration. Kyle's still not happy about the temporary delay. He's worried giving in to Victor will encourage him to continue trying to come between them. Claire teases, "He's not between us right now." They kiss as Audra walks up. As Audra watches Claire and Kyle kiss, she flashes to Victor, telling her to show how easy it would be to lure him back into an affair with her. Every time she makes progress, he'll deposit more seed money into her account. Audra pulls out her phone and texts Kyle, "Appreciate what you said about not fighting, moving past our differences." She watches as his phone dings, and he reads the text and smirks. Claire asks if something is wrong. He says not at all. Things were moving forward perfectly with Audra. Claire doesn't like that he's involved with her. Kyle reminds her he's playing her. Claire doesn't trust her. Kyle says he doesn't either, but he's making it so she trusts him. Once she does, she'll walk right into his trap. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching. So let's dive into today's video. Here are your The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, May 20, when Victor surprises Nikki with a romantic evening. Michael distracts Lauren from her woes, and Jack lends support to Diane related to the Abbott family. Romance is the hallmark of soap operas. Also, Victor and Nikki's love story is synonymous with Y and R. On Wednesday, watch for Victor to surprise Nikki with a romantic evening. The man knows how to make his wife happy. Last fall, he surprised her with a new home for them to live in on his vast estate. Victor had workmen recreate the version of their beloved home that burned down over a decade ago. What could Victor be cooking up for Nikki this time? We've no doubt it will be something that shows her just how much he loves her. Michael Baldwin knows how to win over a judge and jury in the courtroom, but can he get his wife Lauren Fenmore Baldwin to do what he wants? The savvy attorney knows that Lauren has been adamant about making sure Michael doesn't get caught in the middle between Victor and his war with the Abbott family. On Wednesday, watch for Michael to distract Lauren from their problems. Will he take a romantic approach and whisk her off her feet? Maybe Michael will ask for Lauren's aid in dealing with the Newmans. That way, she'll feel like part of the solution instead. Knowing Michael, he likely wants to handle Victor himself. He may not be on board with Lauren having lunches with Nikki and arguing his case on her husband's behalf. Michael could distract Lauren by taking her out of town for a romantic getaway, or by creating a problem at Fenmore's department store to keep Lauren preoccupied. Diane recently opened up to Jack about how much she truly wants to be a part of the Abbott family. She impressed both Jack and Kyle with her changes to the Abbott mansion, but unfortunately, Billy was less than impressed. Watch for Jack on Tuesday's episode to help Diane find her place within the Abbott family. She's already got a great position at Jabot Cosmetics, so we're guessing that Jack's plan involves a way to make Diane happy within the family. Perhaps he will hang a portrait of her or one of Jack and Diane together in a place of prominence in the Abbott mansion. Welcome to The Young and the Restless Daily WAPP for a quick, and by that, I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. On The Young and the Restless, Genoa City residents were struck by the Mandela effect so strongly today that viewers were afflicted as well. Did you know that Cole doesn't already live at the Tack House? For some reason, everyone from Johnny and Katie to Nicholas to us all thought that he already did. Looking back, I guess it never actually happened that they discussed or announced that Cole was moving in, so it's a little bizarre to realize that we assumed it anyway. Although that said, it makes more sense now why Cole said he had a room at the GCAC after he came back from his business trip. But someone somewhere realized everyone assumed Cole lived at the tack house already, and made a point of having Victoria and Nick joke about it in the script, which was about as close as we'll probably ever get to Nick breaking the fourth wall. So now Cole, Victoria, Claire, Johnny, and Katie will all be living in the tack house? You'd think they'd be tripping over one another with that many people in such a small space, but oddly, we never see half of them there. Maybe Johnny and Katie are just always hanging out with Christian, wherever it is that he and Nick live. Want more details? We got you. Soap Central has the best full lie and R recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers, too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. The Young and the Restless spoilers note that Amanda Sinclair's return to Genoa City has been explosive. While fans aren't overly shocked that Amanda has come back on official business to the little town, on behalf of her client, Aristotle Dumas, they have been caught off guard with the news that she's one of the few people who have met him in person. She also seems to know a lot about how he views and feels about old friends in Genoa City. This is interesting on so many levels. After all, Damien Kane also works for Dumas and has managed 2 of his companies for some time and has never met Dumas. The same goes for Damien's friend and colleagues, Holden Novak. Both Holden and Damien seem clueless regarding Dumas and his business, let alone how he sees or respects specific people. During the May 16 episode, when Amanda met with Lily Winters, Divin Hamilton Winters, as well as Nate Hastings, she went into great detail regarding how Dumas felt about each of them. It was a nice sentiment, however. Could this also offer a hint regarding the true nature of their relationship? It's very plausible that Amanda is not only Dumas' lawyer, but is mixing business with pleasure too. After all, Amanda hasn't only seen Dumas, but also offered insight into his thoughts and how he feels about specific people in the land of Genoa City. On top of that, she seems to have unlimited access to Dumas, enough trying to convince him to fund her bestie's business. After all, Phyllis Summers just reached out to Dumas during the week of May 12 to 16. By the time the Monday, May 19 episode rolled around, Amanda knew about it and replied to Phyllis that she tried to talk Dumas into helping her, but he's tied up in other business. That seems fast for Amanda to know about Phyllis' phone call move. Do lawyers talk to their billionaire clients on a daily basis? Even if that's a yes, it seems like Dumas and Amanda not only talk about business on the regular, but have the time to chat about personal things too. In fact, Amanda trying to sway Dumas into helping Phyllis sounds more pillow talk versus business talk, right? The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Amanda is smart, hardworking, and beautiful, the total package for any billionaire mogul to fall in love with, or at least want to engage in a romance with. So it doesn't seem that far-fetched that the two could be involved in some type of romance, even if it's just casual situationship. After all, Amanda snagged another billionaire once upon a time, when she and Devin were in a relationship. On The Young and the Restless recently, Nick found himself in familiar territory, being the source of comfort and support for an ex. But what has the recent drama of both of his exes mean for his love life? It's a winding road full of patterns for Nick Newman. Nick Newman has dedicated a large portion of his life to defending, supporting, forgiving, and protecting his ex-wife and baby mama number 1, Sharon Newman. While chic fans believe the two are soulmates, they have spent more time apart than together over the years, usually reuniting when Sharon's in distress. But a few months ago, Sharon was kidnapped with her arch-nemesis Phyllis Summers. Through their near-death experience, The two worked through some of their issues, enough to call a truce, and enough to have a different perspective when looking at one another. In doing so, Sharon has had some revelations about Nick. Today, Sharon explained to Nick that when she saw him in the park with Phyllis, who was upset, Sharon asked Nick later if he and Phyllis were getting closer and pointed out that she could see now that Nick has a pattern of being drawn to the damsel in distress. Nick reminded Sharon that they had agreed they both wanted to stay just friends, but she said her observation wasn't about them, it was about him and Phyllis. Nick assured Sharon that he and Phyllis were not going to get back together either, but when it comes to chic or fic reunions, never say never. Case told Soap Opera Digest recently, whether they're officially together or not, Nick and Sharon are always kind of together anyway. And maybe that's the confusion for others who insist they still see it as the inevitable happening one day. But are Nick and Sharon just redefining love? Being divorced doesn't mean they're not together because they're part of each other's lives and their kids' lives. So they always have scenes together and share storylines. How they feel about each other is always there. What their relationship has been the last 10 years is still kind of the same. They're still in a relationship of sorts. Last fall, as Sharon's life began a roller coaster of drama, kidnappings, and even murder, Case told Woman's World that Sharon and Nick are partners for life. When Sharon's chips are down, Nick is always there, Case said. She and Morrow have also been partners in storylines since they first joined the show as teens. Case added, they share children, so that makes them partners, and Joshua and I are partners because we have been on the show all this time together. Whether or not Nick and Sharon are inevitably drawn back together, or he and Phyllis spend time together, and that makes them closer romantically, one thing fans of The Young and The Restless know for sure is that Nick deserves some love soon. The Young and the Restless spoilers are in for Tuesday, May 20, 2025. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Cole Howard to get a diagnosis. Meanwhile, Holden Novak grills Kyle Abbott about Audra Charles. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. In the next episode, fans can expect Cole to get some kind of diagnosis or update from the doctor. Fans know that Cole came back to Genoa City with a bad cough. Cole did go to the doctor and got some testing done. However, since then, Cole has just been isolating himself, worried about getting others sick. Victoria Newman mentioned that Cole was still isolating himself, although he's probably not even contagious anymore. That certainly sounds like Cole is not on the mend. Cole could be given a fatal diagnosis. That could tie in with a decision Victoria makes in Tuesday's episode. It is teased that Victoria will make a decision about her relationship with Cole. Victoria and Cole love each other. However, if Cole is dying, Victoria will insist on staying by Cole's side until the very end. Victoria might even suggest they get married. Back to the present, Cole and Victoria might decide to keep the diagnosis from Claire Grace Newman for a bit. At least until after Nikki Newman's birthday celebration is over. The Young and the Restless spoilers for tomorrow reveal that Claire will continue trying to use Nikki's birthday party as a way to soften Victor Newman's heart. Claire insists that Victor just needs to see how happy Kyle Abbott makes her. However, there is likely to be some kind of chaos unleashed instead. Parties and soaps always seem to coincide with bombshells or some kind of catastrophe. Speaking of Kyle, he will get interrogated by Holden. It seems that Holden will question Kyle about his history with Audra. Kyle might tell the GC newcomer that it's none of his business. However, Holden could mention something that makes Kyle's head turn. Holden has been carefully watching Audra, including when she was being grilled by Lily Winters. So Holden might give Kyle a reason to hear him out. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most on Tuesday, May 20, 2025? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. John Abbott was a long-running character on The Young and the Restless, known as the patriarch of the Abbott family and the founder of Abbott Cosmetics. Introduced in the early 1980s, John played a central role in many of the show's major storylines involving business rivalries and family dynamics. John Abbott was most famously portrayed by actor Jerry Douglas, who joined The Young and the Restless in 1982 and played the role until the character's death in 2006. Douglas continued to appear as John's ghost in recurring episodes until 2016. Before Jerry Douglas, John Abbott was briefly portrayed by Sean Garrison and then by Brett Halsey from 1980 to 1981. Jerry Douglas, born Gerald Rubinstein on November 12, 1932, in Chelsea, Massachusetts, was an American actor best known for his role as John Abbott on The Young and the Restless. He joined the cast in March 1982 and portrayed the character for over 25 years. Douglas's acting career began in the early 1960s and included guest roles on television series such as Mission, Impossible, The Rockford Files, The Streets of San Francisco, and Melrose Place. He also appeared in films including JFK, Mommy Dearest, and Avalanche. Douglas died in Los Angeles on November 9, 2021, at age 88. In an interview with TV Insider dated June 21, 2023, Jerry Douglas' wife, Kim Douglas, talked about keeping his memory alive. John Abbott was introduced in 1980 as the founder of Abbott Cosmetics. He had 3 children, Jack, Ashley, and Tracy, with his first wife, Dina Margarine. Dina abandoned the family in 1972, and Mamie Johnson helped raise the children. Ashley later discovered that Brent Davis was her biological father. Jack, Ashley, and Tracy all pursued higher education and were prepared to join the family business. John's relationship with Jill Foster led to marriage despite opposition. Jill had an affair with Jack, resulting in his sexual harassment lawsuit and John's first stroke. After their divorce, Jill received a large settlement and a stake in Abbott. John later dated Joanna Manning and Jessica Blair Granger, whom he married before she died of AIDS. Victor Newman took control of Abbott, causing John another heart attack. John remarried Jill, and they had a son, Billy. They divorced after Jill had an affair. John regained custody of Billy and moved to New York. He returned to Genoa City in 1999 and later married Gloria Fisher. He planned to divorce her after learning of her son's criminal pasts. However, he forgave her after a fall and surgery. In 2005, John went to prison for killing Gloria's estranged husband. He was over-medicated and had a stroke in prison. He died in 2006. After his death, John appeared as a vision or conscience to Jack, Ashley, Billy, and others, with his final appearances in 2016. Jerry Douglas died in 2021. Laura Lee Bell, who plays Christine on The Young and the Restless, commented on Jerry Douglas' death via an Instagram post. The Young and the Restless spoilers say there's a very good chance this will happen. And by that, we mean seeing Sharon Newman and Nick Newman get back together again. Wouldn't that blow the minds of The Young and the Restless fans everywhere, right? In a new interview, actress Sharon Case admitted that there's a strong possibility that the writers of the hit CBS show are working on getting Nick and Sharon back together again. After all, it's not like these two ever had a permanent breakup, right? For all the times that they've separated, they've also gotten back together again. And this time around, it's going to be no different. Speaking to Soap Opera Digest in a new interview, the beautiful blonde put it this way: whether they're officially together or not, Nick and Sharon are always kind of together anyway. Being divorced doesn't mean they're not together because they're part of each other's lives and their kids' lives. So they always have scenes together and share storylines. How they feel about each other is always there. Sharon continued, what their relationship has been the last 10 years is still kind of the same. They're still in a relationship of sorts. Sharon also added that she can't wait for this reunion to happen either. She put it this way: waiting to officially get back together is fun, but in the meantime, they still have this relationship and always do. That relationship is always a part of them and a part of the show. So that's what's great. Now, whether or not shik actually happens remains to be seen. It goes without saying that fans will simply have to tune in each and every day to find out what will happen next. Watch this space for more. The Young and the Restless airs weekdays on the CBS network. Check your local listings for times. Also, let us know what you think of this story by leaving us a line in our comments section below. When Mai and R decides to recast the role of Summer, these three ladies would be perfect. It's been 2 weeks since Allison Lanier exited her role as Summer on The Young and the Restless. Summer is currently in Italy doing work for Marchetti and will be there a while. When and if Mai and R does decide to bring Summer home, these actresses would make the perfect recast. Chloe Lanier is famous for her role as Nell on General Hospital. The actress portrayed the young villain from 2016 to 2020, with a guest appearance in 2022. Since her departure from the ABC drama, Lanier has booked other TV gigs. But if she decides to return to the soap world, the role of Summer would be a good start. Although Summer is considered a heroine, she did her bad girl moments, just like her mom, Phyllis. When Summer returns, the show could tap into her vixen side, something Lanier knows how to play very well. Aside from her acting skills, Pierce's hair matches that of Y and R's Stafford, which makes them a believable mother and daughter pair. Pierce worked with many big stars on B&B, and she'd be a pro at working with Y and R legends Eric Braeden and Melody Thomas Scott. Kristen Alderson's soap career includes playing Star on One Life to Lev and Kiki on GH. The daytime winner has always been a fan favorite in the soap community. A return to daytime TV in a role like Y and R Summer would be huge. In a 2022 interview with Soap Opera Digest podcast, Alderson revealed she auditioned for the role of Summer after Hunter King left. The actress said working on Y and R and having a scene with Victor is her dream. Phyllis thinks Amanda is good for her future endeavors, but what she really needs is a friend. Amanda's return to The Young and the Restless had us questioning everything. Is she up to no good? Who is she working for? Meanwhile, we can't help but think that Amanda's return is a good thing for Phyllis, who's been struggling lately. The last thing Phyllis needs is a new business endeavor. What she really needs is a friend. Amanda is back in Genoa City. She made her big return last week. Surprisingly, she's working as Dumas's legal aid. Dumas is the name on everyone's lips lately. Understandably, everyone wants to know who this elusive and mysterious person is. She's seen the billionaire in person, which hopefully means we'll meet Dumas soon. Also coming soon is Dumas's assistant. Amanda's connection to Dumas has everyone on high alert lately, but her return is good news for Phyllis, who could use someone in her corner. It didn't take long for Phyllis to pitch Amanda her many businesses. She said she's starting a business that has several companies under one umbrella. She wanted to know which pitch would work on Dumas. Phyllis hopes her business plan will go off without a hitch, but there's one problem. She hasn't been herself lately. Phyllis is using business to escape from her personal problems. She hasn't coped with the trauma of being kidnapped with Sharon. Hopefully, Amanda can take her back to planet Earth and give her some good advice, which she needs. If there's one person who can see past Phyllis' foolishness, it's Amanda. Phyllis needs someone who's looking out for her, and not in a white knight sort of way like Nick. She needs a friend who's looking out for her best interests at heart, especially now that Summer is gone. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, May 21 feature Cupid shooting his arrows all over the place. As Victor arranges for a special celebration for Nikki, Michael tries to distract Lauren from his bad life choices, and Jack assures Diane there is more to her than interior decorating. Victor loves making big gestures, as long as it doesn't include him doing anything he doesn't want to do. or anyone disagreeing with what he wants to do. Victor has decided to celebrate Nikki, so Nikki shall be celebrated. Victor's way, she doesn't get an opinion. She just gets to ooh and ah and tell Victor how amazing he is, how well he knows her, and how this was exactly what she wanted. So expect that to happen. Victor doesn't limit his control freak tendencies to merely his blood relations. He also needs total dominion over his employees. Michael displeased Victor, so now Michael must pay and suffer, not even necessarily in that order. Lauren isn't thrilled at how Victor is treating her husband, but she also isn't thrilled with how Michael is just accepting that treatment. He keeps being loyal to Victor, even though Victor is being awful to Michael. Lauren wants Michael to quit. Michael wants Lauren to quit, telling him that. So Michael is choosing to distract his wife with a little wooing. Diane was sad when Billy didn't like her redecorating of the Abbott mansion. She gave a tearful speech about how she wants to belong and be part of the family. Jack told she was. Now he's telling her again. And he has a cool gesture to prove it to her. Who cares what Billy thinks?